been taken over. Lord, hear our cry. The strange diseases are taking over. Lord, hear our prayer. Your land has been taken over. Lord, hear our cry. The strange diseases are taking over. I say, wow.
Hey yo guys, this is Joe Moss, Pure Music. We just had to listen to what that sounds like. Here with me is another video, a part 2 to a video that I did previously. This time around, we're focusing on how I mix the background vocals to this reggae tune. So without further ado, let's jump right in it. So I'll mute the instrumental first so that we'll listen to the lead vocal and the backings on how they sound.
Lord, hear our prayer. Your land has been taken over. Lord, hear our cry. The strange diseases are taking over.
Now the backing vocals solo without the lead vocal.
Lord, hear our prayer. Your land has been taken over. Lord, hear our cry. The strange diseases are taking over.
So every time that I'm recording background vocals, I get to have 2 takes of each vocal because actually on this first part, I prefer to have these 2.
Lord, hear prayer.
Supporting the lead.
Lord, hear prayer.
And on the second part, I wanted two backing vocals to support the lead. So these were the vocals.
Your land has been taken over.
To this lead.
Your land has been taken over.
Then I wanted a second vocal to support the first one.
Your land has been
so the second one was a high one.
Your land has been taken over.
So together.
Your land has been taken over.
So those are the vocals that make up the whole part. And towards the last part, I requested for another backing vocal, which was a low one.
The strange disease has taken over.
So mostly I do record 2 takes per vocal because actually I have to pan the other one left, right to make that chorus feel. So let's jump right into the mixing effects so that you get a grasp of how it sounds like. So muting out the lead vocal first, we'll mute out the effects and listen to what it sounds like.
The strange disease has Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
So those are the background vocals without the effects. I firstly use a noise gate to clean out the unwanted noise.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over. Lord, hear cry. The strange disease has taken over.
All right. Then secondly, it's an EQ, rolling out the lows, and there is a new feature in FabFilter, Clear Spectral. It gives you that range whereby you want to attenuate the frequencies. So I gave it this range whereby I wanted this EQ to automatically attenuate the frequencies. So this is what it sounds like.
Lord, hear prayer.
Let me zoom it in.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
So
Lord,
these are
hear cry. The strange disease has taken over.
So these are the frequencies that the EQ is affecting.
Lord,
then I scooped and searched for this frequency.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
Yeah, that was the frequency that I curved out as well. It's just somewhere around -3 dB. Then this high one.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
So those were the frequencies that I curved out. And thirdly, it was a compressor, CLA2.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
with 5 dB of gain reduction, nothing much.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
Then fourth, it was an R compressor with a slow attack and fast release with a threshold of 17 and a ratio of 3.6 thereabouts, and a makeup gain of whatever the compressor was compressing. You know, it's more like the gain reduction, compensating the gain that the compressor introduced. So this was with it.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over. Lord, hear your cry. The strange disease has taken over.
All right, then fifth in the chain, it's this EQ, Suffer EQ. It's just bringing up the highs and somewhere around 4K. I boosted 2 dB just to bring in some clarity. So this is with it.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over. Lord, hear your cry.
Okay, so this is without. It sounds like this.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
And with it.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
As you can hear, clarity was introduced. Then 60th is an RDSer, you know, taming out the hash aces and T's, you know. I gave it a range of -6 with a threshold of 30, but then it can be reduced depending on how hard the DSer is slapping on the vocal.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
Has been, as you can see, the RDSer is reacting to those has, as in I think it has an ace in it.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
All right, so 7th is a doubler. This is the magic trick. I think you would have to perceive it. So this gives it more like a stereo width, you know. It gives the stereo width to the backing vocals. So without, it sounds good, but then you see how the doubler brings in a change.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been.
Oh.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
And with it.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over. Lord, hear your cry. The strange disease has taken over.
So you can perceive how it sounds more stereo. It sounds more stereo and more wide. Then I used a black box. It's a saturation plugin. I gave it a 65% of saturation. Then I added in some air. Overall, I gave it a mix of somewhere around 11%. It wasn't 100% introduction of the black box to the whole entire vocal chain. I just introduced more like a percentage of it. So this is how it sounds with it.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
And without.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
And with it again. That was with it and without.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
As you can hear, it brings in some level of quality. Then it was an RVox. The RVox just was there to bring up the gain so that the background vocals match up to the lead. As you can hear, without the RVox, the background vocals sound low.
Lord, hear prayer. Lord, hear. Lord.
All right, I think the lead is muted.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
As you can hear, the lead vocal is dominating without the RVox, that is.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
With the RVox.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
All right. So last in the vocal chain, towards the background vocals, it was an EQ, trying to tame down the frequencies as well, rolling out the lows you know.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
So this, on the second EQ, I didn't want to use the feature, the spectral. I didn't want to use the make spectral. I don't want to use this feature. I just wanted to scope up the frequencies that were annoying. So that's what it came up to.
Lord, hear prayer.
And on the sends, we have a reverb as the first send.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over. Lord.
So I used Fab Filter Reverb Pro R2 with a long decay time. Then I used this feature, the ducking one, because actually I wanted it to duck whenever the vocal plays. I want the reverb to duck a little bit. Then with a pre-delay of 23. Then on the bass send, I rolled off the lows and the highs of the reverb so that it gave us this.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
And on the second send, it was a doubler, more like a doubler effect, whereby a doubler comes first, then seconded by a flanger, which gets to somewhere around 50%. Then I lower the lows, to somewhere around 100 or somewhere around 90, just rolling out the mad frequencies that will be introduced by this send. So this is what it sounds like.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
And then third, it's a power completion. I use the CLA 76.
Lord, hear prayer.
Sending it all the way to 0 dB, but then the introduction is controlled by this effects knob, volume knob, whereby I control the amount of power compression being sent to this background vocal. So it's just more like heavy compression, the ratio is all the way in. Fast attack, at least the fair release with a threshold of somewhere around 24, compressing the vocal heavily.
Lord, hear prayer.
But then since it's a send, it brings in no much contradictions. Then third on the sends, it's a high end. I introduce a C6, bringing in the higher harmonics. And second on the chain is this Pro EQ from Presonus, whereby I low off all the lows, just remaining with the highs to bring in some clarity to the vocal. I introduce it as a send with just a tiny bit amount of it. Then third in the effects chain is a de-esser, so that the hashes don't come through. So this is what it sounds like without.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
And with it.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over.
So as you can hear, it's much of clarity that is being introduced to this vocal chain, the background vocals. That's what I aim towards and strive for. So this is with it, the background vocals and the instrumental.
Lord, hear prayer. Your land has been taken over. Lord, hear prayer. The strange disease has taken over.
And then somewhere around the verse part, these were the backings. I think this is the bridge.
Wash your hands, Kazuma. Don't touch your nose. Wash your hands, Kazuma. Don't touch your nose.
So those are the background vocals, but then much of this to come through dwells much on what you guys have been recording. The recording first is more important because actually you have to spend a great amount of time trying to record a clean session. All these things were achieved through the recording phase. Then the mixing part is just you adding in some stuff to the whole project. So thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Follow, subscribe to support my channel. Until the next video, cheers.
Lord, hear your prayer. Your land has been taken over. Lord, hear your cry. The strange diseases are taking over. Lord, hear your prayer. Your land has been taken over. Lord, hear your cry. The strange diseases are taking over. Let's say worship.